Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. So my name is Jorij Abraham. I run the Global Anti-Scam Alliance and ScamAdviser.com. And the Global Anti-Scam Alliance is a non-profit organization where we bring together law enforcement, policymakers, security companies, brand protection organizations to help fight this menace. ScamAdviser.com is a business-to-consumer brand. We have about 4 million visitors per month, and consumers check ScamAdviser to see if a website is legit or a scam. And in that way, if I may have the next slide, let's see if it works. Yes, it works. Thank you. Our overarching goal is to help consumers not get scammed. So maybe a brief introduction of why are we organizing the Global Anti-Scam Summit at all, or the GAS. I know it's not the best acronym, but it does work. As you already saw in the introduction video, the number of scams is growing very rapidly. We're now at $54 billion being lost in scams, and that's what's being recorded. We also see the number of scams growing very rapidly. We are now nearly at 300 million scams being reported by scam victims to law enforcement on a global level. These figures are, by the way, based on our study we did last October, where we looked at 48 different countries to see how much scams are being reported, how much money is being lost. And as the biggest concern at the moment is that actually online scams are becoming either the most reported kind of crime in many countries or the second most reported crime. I always, and Karan, Jemima, I'm sorry, I always give the UK as an example, but I think it's actually a compliment because it means that at least scams are reported and noted, and you have the statistics. So in the UK, 31% of online scam, of all crime is now related to fraud. And we see that in many countries. And the more actually, as a country, we're starting to facilitate reporting of online scams, then the figures very rapidly increase because it's often invisible. We also see that scams are becoming, unfortunately, a global business. I mean, all of you are aware of the Nigerian advanced fraud scams, might not be the best name for it. But we also see in Israel, there are certain organizations specializing in money recovery, contacting victims who have been scammed, saying that, hey, we can help you retrieve your cryptocurrency investment, which you in most cases cannot. Or, and I'm Dutch, and I also have to say, the Netherlands doesn't have the best reputation regarding bulletproof hosting, meaning that certain providers in the Netherlands make it very difficult for organizations to take websites down which are criminal. So moral of the story is scams are out of control. We see now that a lot of scams are being reported, but it's very difficult to actually apprehend the scammer. In the UK, but internationally, according to the World Economic Forum, 0.05% of all criminals are actually put behind bars, which makes it a very lucrative business. It's easy to start up, you get a lot of money, and the chances of getting caught are nearly zero. So how can we turn the tide? That's actually the goal of this summit. So our biggest challenge is that there is no global police force, there is no global legislation. And looking at the current developments, I think it will also take a very long time until we have that. So we need to cooperate in other ways. We need to share data because the criminals are, if they're smart, never ever operating in their own country. They're operating in 80 other countries, sharing their scams across 100 or 200 or 10,000 websites. So it's very difficult to actually see that cyber criminals are active. So that's the reason why we need to share data to help the investigation and in the end also the enforcement. And that's what we hope to achieve with the Global Anti-Scam Summit, is to bring you all together to not only share data, share statistics, share knowledge, but also define concrete solutions together to better fight scams. And I will get back to that later on. So how the idea is to, we are in the Netherlands, so we are going to build a dike in the next 2 days together. And we start with a solid foundation. We have 4 speakers introducing and setting the scene for malware, cybercrime, phishing. And I'm very glad that APWG is here to tell you everything about phishing and Alejandro about cybercrime. Then we have 6 different speakers from 6 different continents sharing with us the scam trends in their region, but also the local solutions they've defined to fight them. Then we have a short break, and we are followed by 4 speakers who will go deep into specific scams: online shopping, cryptocurrency, and pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes. Then, of course, we will turn towards more solutions. So we have, again, 4 different speakers sharing how they are fighting scams or how they are making consumers more aware on scams. In the late afternoon, we're going to break up. We have 3 rooms, 3 working groups defined, where we can look into more solutions, more ideas together. We have the e-crime exchange hosted by APWG. Deco Protesta will host a workshop with several other speakers from abroad about consumer awareness and how to build that. And finally, we have Donna Gregory from the FBI leading a working group for law enforcement officers and how to share data. The law enforcement working group is unfortunately only accessible for law enforcement officers. So if you're not on the list and you already know, I'm sorry. And if you're virtually, you already received a link to that working group yesterday. Finally, we're going to call it a day at around 6 o'clock. And then tomorrow we'll continue with a great first panel where I'm very happy that the Euro Commission will share her vision on how we can better combat scams and make the European consumer safer. But also we have speakers from Facebook and Google joining, and from CSC and Spamhaus to share which solutions they have come across with regarding scams, but also the issues they are being confronted with, because it's not something even the big tech giants can do alone. Then again, 4 different speakers about best practices, and I'm very happy that Abigail from Amazon is sharing her insights into how they are trying to prevent consumers from getting scammed, but also the Miguel de Bruiker from Belgium, from the Cybersecurity Center, and his innovations to help fight scammers. Then we have our last working group session. So again, 3 different working groups hosted by the Global Cyber Alliance, CIFAS, and NetSweeper, discussing different solutions on how we can combat scams together. And we will end with a panel discussion where I'm very glad that we also have Eileen, a scam victim, speaking. I don't know who of you saw the Netflix series, The Tinder Swindler. She's one of the victims, and we're very happy to have her here tomorrow, because it's good that we also look at what's happening to the victim. To what extent are we currently helping them, and where can we improve? So that's to summarize the event. If you like to see the agenda, it's online at gasa.org, and it will also be made available on the big screen outside. So as I said, we're going to build a dike together, and we have to have certain house rules. This is a hybrid event. There are a few hundred people joining online, and we have about, I think now, 90 to 100 people in the room. So it's going to be a challenge. And I know, and we already saw the first example, things go sometimes slightly wrong. So please give us a few minutes to fix it. It's tough, but we will do our best, so give us some time. Please do not record the event. There are a few speakers who prefer not to be recognized, so we're not allowed to show their face because of security reasons. But also, if you're online, all the presentations are recorded, which can be recorded, and all presentations will be shared after the event. So please do not take pictures or make your own recordings if you're online. If there are any questions, and that's not for the room, but for the people who are virtually, feel free to use the chat. Maybe nice if you already share in the chat from which country you are, so that we can see how many countries are representative. If you want to discuss something directly with a person, please use the direct chat option in Zoom. Don't do the entire discussion in the group chat. And also, if you've been a scam victim, and we know certain people will be joining who are a scam victim, this is unfortunately not the place to discuss your individual scam. So we are happy to help you. You can send an email to report@gasa.org, but please do not use use the group chat to share your individual experience. Finally, if there are any technical issues, please use the Zoom chat. There's a user called support. You can contact him directly if you have issues, or you can use the email address partner@gasa.org, and we will try to help you. Finally, I would like to thank our supporters, our partners for the last 3 years. Group IB, Trend Micro, Eversea, EuroDNS, and eBrand have been supporting us for a very long time. And we're also very happy that we have several partners supporting our event: Domain Crawler, NetSweeper, Cybertrace, CNAC, and Crystal. So please, a warm applause for our supporters.